I knew that I had accumulated a whole lot of horror novels back in my teens, but I've got more than I thought. I'm Michelle, this is my romantic tangle, and I went back up into my attic because I promised you guys another horror unboxing, and I have two big boxes and a third smaller box, and I didn't dig my way down to the bottom of the stack. Words are kind of failing me right now. I thought about unboxing these in the actual attic, but I decided that a backdrop of My Little Ponies and outgrown baby stuff would kind of detract from the fun. I'm going to warn you, my books are not in as great a shape as Mom's. I think she went through and actually picked out the 80s with the skeleton covers, and I've got a accumulation of who knows. This one is Reborn by Leonard Simon. Nightlife by Brian Hodge. These are in no sort of order at all. Chumash by Gary Thompson. The Pet by Charles L. Grant, and I love the horse on that cover. I have no idea what this is about, but based on that cover, I want to read it. Crucifax by Ray Garton. I did read some of his books back in the day. I don't know if I read this one. I know the ones I did read were not for the faint of heart. The Accursed by Paul Borstein. That's got a cover price of $1.75, so I'm guessing it's an older one. Yep, 1977. The Witchfinder by Maurice Hilliard. It has a cover price of $1.25, says it's a novel of diabolism, whatever that means. And it's from 1974. And it has a weird library card that makes no sense. Blood Moon by Mason Burgess. Predators by Eric Sauer. Kiss Not the Child by John Teagues. I read the back of this one, and it bit of a satanic baby, Rosemary's Baby thing maybe. Effigies by William Wells, and that one has a step back cover. Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. I seem to think that one was a biggie, but I don't remember what it was about. The Boneyard, edited by somebody. It's a short story collection, it looks like. John Coyne, The Searing. I think it was one of this author's other books that thoroughly traumatized me when I was probably 10 or 11 years old and way too young to be reading it. Blood Rip by Thomas Mordain. There's another step back cover. And yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Dominion by Fred Saberhagen. These have been up in my attic in a box without a lid, so. The Revenant. I do not recommend storing your book collection that way, but at the same time, I am very glad that I still have all of these because it would have been easy for them to fall through the cracks over the years. Household by Florence Stevenson, and oh, look at that cover. Hell Train by Bill Garnett. I did not dust these all off before I started filming, so we got dust and stuff. The Hollowing by Fran Porcus Uribe. Kachina by Catherine Patek. Daughter of Darkness by H.P. Dunn. The Fog by James Herbert, and I think I might remember reading this one and being disappointed that it had nothing to do with the John Carpenter movie, but I'm not sure. Moon Slasher by Douglas Hawke. Wolfsbane by William W. Johnstone, and oh, I love those zebra. I love the zebra covers. There may be some duplicates in here from that box my mom set out because those were hers, these are mine. Books of Blood, Volume 2. Warlock, that's a novelization by Ray Garton, and I'm pretty sure I read that one. Isabel by Jane Parkhurst. That one looks old. 1977. I may have to look into whether some of these are the ones that people are collecting or not. John Ferris, Minotaur. I mean, it's got a quote by Stephen King calling him America's premier novelist of terror, so I suppose that makes it horror. Abracadabra by Stephen Gresham, and look at that cover. I'm going to spend this whole video saying, look at that cover. Blood of the Wolf by Jeffrey Godden. Night Thirst by Patrick Whalen. I have no idea. Peregrine, Deadly Slashing Menace from the Sky by William Bear. And The Dracula Murders by Philip Daniels. Guys, we're only halfway through the box. Dead Season by J. Bradley Lewis. Come 13 by David Silva. Winter Stalk by James L. Stowe. Is that a step back cover? Yes, it is. I wonder if that's more of a thriller. The bookstore that I worked at focused mainly on romance novels, and if it had a black cover, it went in the horror section. Haunted Houses by Richard Winter and Nancy Osborne. Oh, this is Winchester House and stuff, so nonfiction. The Ritual by J.N. Williamson. Out of the Night by Patrick Whalen. There are books here that I don't... Obviously, I have seen them before. They are books that belong to me that are in my attic. But I don't remember them. Watchdog by Faith Sullivan. Sticks by Christopher Hyde. Now, I know that when I read this one as a kid, it scared the absolute hell out of me. And I got rid of it because I could not deal with having that book in the house. Later, when I worked at the bookstore, I bought another copy of it to see if it was as scary as I remembered, but I never read it, so I'll add that to the list of what I'm going to read. Reanimator, Death School by J.N. Williamson, and again, I love these covers. Dracula by Bram Stoker, which somebody has completely covered in Scotch tape because why not? I was actually thinking one of the boys might want to read Dracula, so I will set that aside for him. And he doesn't like to read on the Kindle, so it's great that I found a paperback copy here in the house. Playmates by Andrew Niederman. And yes, he is the one who took over for V.C. Andrews after she passed away. I read some of the old Flowers in the Attic stuff. I didn't read any of the ones by him, I don't think. Covers stick together after decades. Flowers of Evil by Robert Charles. That is a pretty cover. Says their roots are in hell. That's another one that looks older. Dagon, a novel of blinding terror by Fred Chappell. Got a step back cover. I don't know what's going on there. Something. Death Bell by Guy Smith. The Dead by Mark Rogers. I think I remember that cover. The Damnation Game by Clive Barker. Earthbound by Logan Swanson. It says, "Don't go into the cottage. She's waiting for you." So maybe that means it's horror. Cursed Be the Child by Mort Castle. Little Brothers by Rick Hautala. The Ashes of Tamar. Okay, it says a novelist dark horror, so it must be a horror novel, right? The Trespasser by Melvin Weiser. First she died, now she kills. Kind of shows you how genius the zebra skeleton covers were, because no matter what it was about, you could tell that they intended that thing to be a horror novel. In Darkness Waiting by John Shirley. It feels like I should know something about that one, and I don't. Deadly Nature by V.M. Thompson. Thought for a moment we had a step back cover, but no. Deliver Us from Evil by Alan Lee Harris. Dark Side by Dennis Etchison. The Devil's Touch by William W. Johnstone. This is starting to remind me of the days at the bookstore where we had the counters stacked probably 3 feet deep with trade that was coming in. I miss it. Poltergeist by William G. Roll. Documented case histories of hair-raising feats by uncanny invisible spirits, so I am guessing that that one is more nonfiction. Vessel by John Teagues. That's a creative cover. I pulled out 1 or 2 obvious romance novels as I went through here. Ooh, The Everlasting by Leonard Bishop. Beyond life, beyond death, evil lives forever. A spellbinding novel of sexual possession. I might be able to skip that one. I don't know. Night Brothers by Sidney Williams. There was a lot of weird stuff in these old horror novels, and I'm going to say read at your own risk, unless you know in advance about the author or the plot. Lynn Biederstadt, Sleep. There is no rest in slumber. Behind closed eyes, a monstrous evil waits and waits and kills. That's a cover for you. Okay, this one, Chill number 7, Shadows. Out of the shadows came the doll, and out of the doll came the scream. So this is part of a series, and based on the cover, I want to say we bought this at Safeway while we were grocery shopping, because now and then I did get a brand new book from the grocery store, but I don't remember the book itself. Roof World, a novel by Christopher Fowler. Above the streets of London lives a bizarre cult, half in our world, half in their own. Carvings by John Snellings. Look at the cover. I like the leisure covers just as much as the zebra covers. And it's all embossed, and again, I don't know what it's about, but I really think I want to read it. Garden of the Incubus. If you ever want an interesting challenge, take a box of books you bought 30 years ago when you were a teenager, probably more like 35 years ago, and try to figure out what you were thinking at the time. The Ceremonies by T.E.D. Klein. Again, that's one of the ones I feel like I should know what it is, but I don't. Diane Guest, Lullaby. This time it's not make-believe. Ooh, is this going to be a creepy doll book? Cry for the Strangers by John Saul. I am sure that I read that one because I think I read all of his early ones. They were tame enough that when I started reading horror, my mom thought they were safe to read. Tengu by Graham Masterton. I read a lot of his back in the day. The Light at the End by John Skip and Craig Spector, and I want to say I read that, have no idea what it was about. Patchwork by Carolyn Banks. Okay, if I've got a horror novel with a quilt on the cover, I'm reading it. An Adversary by Daniel Rhodes. A modern-day master of the supernatural tale. It's so nice when they give you clues what you are looking at. So my plan was to read all of the back covers and pull out 4 or 5 that I wanted to read this month. And as you can tell, that was easier said than done and did not work at all well. It turns out some of the books with the most gorgeous covers have the least appealing plots. And what I really steered myself to were some of the 70s titles and some of the ones that sounded more like they might be folk horror. I'm going to get this edited and uploaded and dig into the second box with the hopes of having another book unboxing for you next week. If you have read any of these and there's something that you think I would enjoy reading right now, please let me know in the comments below. I'm Michelle. This is my Romantic Tangle, and thanks for watching.